Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Well, this week we're in Elizabeth, Colorado to visit Terry Gale's Rambler Ranch. Now, Terry has 160 some odd acres here, and in addition to this staging area, which holds 300 to 400 diamonds in the rough awaiting restoration, Terry's also got about 200 fully restored cars in his collection. Trust me, you'll be amazed. Terry, how you doing?
Just great, thank you.
Man, what a place. This is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. How did this all come about? I mean, it's quite an establishment, but it started, as I understand, from one car?
Yep, my dad's 54 Ambassador. He bought from a friend from a dealership in Utah for $50. He did a trade-in. Yeah, what a bargain. And he drove for a couple of years, and the oil pump went out, and it sat in the back of the house in the field for 18 years.
Man.
And my brother was going to have it hauled away, and he asked me, he said, you want Dad's old car? So we drug it out. Took 2 years to rebuild the motor, finding all the gaskets and parts for it, with all the broken windows and everything. Drove it over here and had it restored here, and that started the whole obsession.
And was that really the first restoration you were involved with? Or?
Yes.
Wow.
That was the first one.
Yeah, an obsession is pretty much what I would call it. Well, so there's the Nash building, then the building that's attached to it you call...
The Brand X
The Brand
building.
X, that's
Yes.
your other marks,
Yes.
not just Nash, so you're not just a
No,
Nash guy.
I like anything on wheels.
So in there you got all sorts of stuff. You got
Studebaker, Packard, Kaiser's, even a Vauxhall, an All-State, which is pretty rare, an All-State, a
Sold
Lincoln,
by Sears, right?
a Lincoln, a Chevrolet, Corvairs, Fiats. There are 36 other models besides Nash, Rambler, and American Motors here.
But then that wasn't big enough, and you built the mega building here.
Yes.
For this obsession with AMCs. How many cars are in there?
There are 110 cars in the big building.
Well, Terry, your place really is amazing. When I learned about it, I knew I had to come out and see it with my own eyes. But I didn't know what to pull out to focus on, so I decided to go, after some deliberation, with a couple funky 50s Nashes. Let's start with the 55 Nash Ambassador Super. They used this body style for a while, didn't they?
Yeah, about 4 years.
Nothing looks quite like these.
No, very unique going down the road.
Nothing looks quite like this. Now, where did you find this car?
Well, because of the body style, I spotted the Continental kit going down the road, and I turned and chased it down.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you really did chase this
I
one
did
down.
chase it down, yeah.
And talk the owner out of it right there?
Oh no, it took me about 10 years to get it from him.
You're persistent too.
Yes, very.
Now, you think of a Nash as, they're a little bit stodgy, or they certainly, they grabbed that image, but they're actually ahead of their time in a lot of ways. And one of the things, that's a very racy hood ornament.
For a conservative company, to do a nude woman's very risque for a...
Is that a correct hood ornament? I mean...
Yes, it is. This was designed by a pinup artist in the 50s, George Petty. And Nash was the only company to ever do a signature on a hood ornament.
Wow, so this is actually a Petty signature?
It's got a Petty signature on it, so you can tell the original ones.
Wow.
Yep.
And this two-tone paint scheme was pretty common?
Yes. They also had a tritone. You get tritone
really?
colors.
What would it be the top and the...
Uh-huh. Yeah, the top would be one color and the spear the other colors, yeah.
There's an awful lot of compound curves and stuff in a Nash body. I mean, they did it, they brought their fenders way out, both front and back, and...
These are called road guide fenders. When you're sitting in the driver's seat, you use this part of the fender to guide you down the road for the lines on the road.
Really?
Yeah. Road guide fenders.
Does it work?
Yes, it does.
Well, and this was an air intake?
Yeah, this is where Nash brought the fresh air for your ventilation system, instead of having it in the front of the car like a lot of them did, where you get, if you're sitting in traffic, you get exhaust fumes. Where Nash brought it through up here, and it goes through a filter. There's a box inside the engine compartment that has a filter, and so they call it conditioned air. Because that's actually filtered before
it wasn't
it goes.
really air conditioning.
You could get air conditioning in 1954, but this car does not have it.
Well, I love the interior. I find the dash setup really interesting. It's, it is symmetrical about the center of the car. It's not centered for the driver.
Well, it's real easy to view because that huge steering wheel isn't blocking everything.
Well, that's true. Yeah. And these little tabs back here in the back seat, that's another thing that was...
Well, one of Nash's famous features was the airliner reclining seats. You pull the seat all the way forward and lay this back, and the back of the seat here actually rests on that, and so
it's
you
one
can
big
sleep
mattress.
in the car.
Yeah, so you could travel in these cars, you could sleep in these cars.
Yeah.
They were a favorite dating car, if I remember.
Yeah.
And a Farina insignia there.
Yeah, Nash used Pina and Farina for many years for a lot of design work and designed some cars and interior work.
And the Continental kit, which was what what led you to the car, right?
Yes, that's why I saw it going down the road and chased it down. This is a Super, and the Continental kit was an option on a Super. If you got an Ambassador Custom, it came standard with the Continental kit.
What were the engine options in this car?
This, you could, just the overhead valve 6-cylinder.
That's what came with this car?
Yes.
Well, let's go look at it. Ah, yes, the straight 6. Now what size is that?
This is a 252. Overhead valve, 7 main bearings. They're just indestructible.
They are bulletproof engines.
Yes.
Yeah, they're real workhorses. And is this the original engine with the car as far as
Yes,
you
it
know?
is. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Now, obviously, you know, it's got a little road dirt on it, but that's because you drive these cars.
Oh, absolutely. I don't mind taking my cars anywhere. This one's been on 2 or 3 trips.
Well, it's a driving car and everything. It's a driving day. What do you say we take it out?
Absolutely.
You don't mind if I drive it, do you?
Oh, not at all.
I like that. All right, let's go. I know, Terry, I got to tell you that, frankly, that hood ornament's a little distracting when you get right down to it.
Yeah. Well, it kept a man's eyes on the road.
Yeah, right, or at least that direction.
Yes. They're not fast, but once they get up to speed, there's a lot of weight behind you.
Yeah, got a lot of momentum.
Yes.
Oh, you're right, not a lot of pickup, but it gets going.
Sufficient.
And a 3-speed automatic?
Yes.
3-speed.
I don't know, do you have up in 4? If it
I got
doesn't
it
shift
on drive.
again.
I got it on drive. Now, what is that, an overdrive?
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, these are bias ply tires, so they drive right
Drive
differently.
just like it should for
yes.
55, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how big the passenger compartment is in here.
Oh, it's huge.
A lot of headroom too. This was back when you could wear hats.
Yes.
You know, fedoras in a car.
Yeah.
Get away with
Oh, and
it.
the women wore hats. You know,
Yeah,
Sunday
women
to
too, yeah.
church, you wore a hat. Check out the size of this glove box.
Oh my God, glove drawer.
Drawer, yes.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Now, when people come to your place, to the Rambler Ranch, are they just like blown away?
Totally blown away.
It's not just for car guys. I mean, I could see how spouses could like this too.
Oh yeah, I had a group, street riders group from Colorado Springs come up one time, and the man come up and put his arm on my shoulder. He says, Terry, says, you know, I usually have to drag my wife to these things. He said, this is the first time I've had to drag her away.
So this stuff that she got into too.
She loved the mannequins and the costume jewelry.
Well, it's cool how you've got the cars displayed and you've got kind of period dress mannequins and stuff. It's nice.
It just takes a lot of people back. I have a lot of people that remember, you know, the Ramblers, Nashes, and if they didn't have one, their grandparents or somebody in the family had a Nash or Rambler.
It's almost like a Kevin Bacon thing. Somewhere along in there's some attachment to Nash
Yes.
or Rambler. 7 degrees of Nash.
Yeah.
Well, again, it wasn't a high-performance car, but you know, it was reliable.
They were tough, they were dependable, and they were affordable.
Mm-hmm.
What more could you ask for? These are cars that people can relate to because they see them on the road or they're familiar with them.
Well, that was really nice. I like that 55 Ambassador Super. But now we're going to step up a couple years and we're going to step up a level in model too, because this is now an Ambassador Custom. 57,
57.
Ambassador Custom, right?
Yes.
Well, now they changed the front end, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a complete body change. They started in 56 with a body change, with the stacked headlights, the taillights.
Are different.
Yeah.
And they added these, what are they, kind of marker lights? Running
These are
lights?
the blinkers.
And they toned down their hood ornament.
Yes, they dropped the petty lady, yes.
No more naked women.
Yes.
So what's the story on this car, Terry?
This car is actually an eBay purchase.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Wow, I gotta watch eBay more closely.
Yeah. This car came out of California.
What an interesting color combination.
It's a beautiful color. It's called a cinnamon bronze with a Georgia peach.
Georgia peach.
Georgia peach.
Wow. I gotta believe these are pretty rare. I've never seen one. I've seen the 55s before, but this is the first time I've seen one of these.
Well, 57 was the last year they used the Nash and Hudson names.
I see.
Nash and Hudson merged in 1954, and that you go to your Rambler dealer or Hudson dealer and get a Nash Rambler or a Hudson Rambler, and They dropped that in '57.
And then they became
American Motors.
American Motors. Well, they've done some stuff to make it look more stately anyway.
Well, the trim is different down the sides, and
Yeah.
with the unique aero design there, it makes it look a lot bigger.
Yeah. Now the door handles were always, I think, ahead of their time for Nash.
Yes.
Basically flush door handles. Nobody was doing that back then, were they?
No.
And now everybody is.
Yep. It's a standard.
If they just could have hung on. But this one, you can tell this is a step up. I mean, the interior in this is gorgeous. Here again, you got the centered dash.
Yeah. And this has the trim there, the turn trim there, which that car does not have. And that was also what a step up with the custom. It was a little fancier trim level inside as well as outside.
Very complicated interior fabric patterns.
Yeah,
I mean,
back then you could pick your interior. You had a book at the dealership and you go in and pick your colors and your fabrics and they show you which ones are available for different models. And this car has factory power windows as well.
oh, I see that. That's amazing. Now, did this one have air or not?
No, this one does not have air.
But I love the back seat here. I mean, it's 3 sections. Is that an armrest?
That's an armrest.
That's a massive armrest.
It's a very huge armrest. You don't have to argue on who gets to use the armrest. There's plenty of room for 2.
And now some of these, again, it was kind of a Nash thing, but does that open up to the trunk?
That opens up, yeah, and there's a little curtain there. And if you had skis or something long, you could slide it from the trunk all the way up in here, much like today's cars.
Yeah. No, I see I've got my little bumper stoppers there again.
Yep, the same famous reclining seats.
Jeez, I love it. And very, very now 50s in the colors. This is sort of a peach interior,
Yeah, peach interior.
gray, with a little bit of silver trim in it. It's just very, very 50s.
Nash also had above the visor there, they've got
yeah, what's that?
That's a map, little thing for your maps.
Oh, I like that, yeah.
A little net to put your maps and sunglasses and things in.
Wow. But they really did change the side trim from the 55, and the taillights are very different. Man, that's
an enormous taillight.
that is an enormous taillight.
They're almost a work of art.
They are beautiful. And are these the backup lights?
Those are the backup lights.
Holy cow. Where do you find something like that if you need one?
They're very hard to come by.
I
Very few things have been reproduced for Nash.
Yeah.
So you've got to search eBay and wherever you can to find new old stock parts.
The Continental kit was standard on this, on
Yes.
the custom level, right?
Yes.
Now this would have probably had a bigger engine too.
Yes, this car is a V8.
Let's go look at it. All right, now that's a Nash engine, actually.
That's a Nash 327.
Because they had used a Packard prior to that, or
Yes.
has that all been rebuilt, redone?
Yep,
and
this one's all been redone. Runs like a top.
Oil bath air cleaner. Quite a stabilizer bar up here.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy duty.
But then Nashes were known for being pretty heavy duty.
Yeah,
The Super drove like a dream. Is this one equally nice?
even nicer.
Even nicer? Well, I happen to be on the driver's side once again. What do you say we take this one out and exercise?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Close her up. Beauty. Boy, you can tell a difference with the V8.
Lot of difference in the power here, yes.
Yeah, this baby gets up and moves.
Yes.
The 55 was, it got there. It got there nicely. But this has got some get up and go to it.
This is a nice travel car.
Well, let's go see what's happening. Down Wild Horse Trail. It also has power brakes, doesn't it?
Yes.
Woo. Now, you do notice, because this car's got power steering in it, and the 55 Special didn't.
Right.
And these early power steering units had a little more wander to them. And I don't think it's really the suspension itself. I think it's the overcorrection of the power steering unit itself.
And bias ply tires seem
that's
to
true.
wander a
Yeah.
lot too, because this also has bias ply tires on it.
And do you do that just because that's what's correct?
Yes. I like the look of them. They're tall and
Yeah.
big white walls, and they just look better.
That's really comfy. But they really didn't change the dash configuration at all, did they?
Nope, stayed pretty much exactly the same. In the custom, you got this engine turned material on the Super. It's just plain. It's painted body color.
Does it have the same glove drawer?
Yes.
Gosh, that's a glove bin. Yeah, these cars have that 50s motorboat feel.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
They're a lot more work to drive than the modern cars.
Yes,
You got to pay more attention.
this car's a blast. So until our next meeting, remember, honor the timeless classics. I'm Dennis Gage. Happy motoring.